Oh, I thought it would be fun to make a little Frankenstein's monster-style windsock for the front porch of the dollhouse. Stay tuned and see what a fun and easy project this is to make. All right, to start off, we are starting with a strip of medium weight cardstock. This is just came off the edge of one of my Cricut projects that we've done on the channel. So it's cut 3 inches long by 3/4 of an inch tall, and the dimensions will be on the blog post, so don't worry about that. I'm going to start by painting it green, and I decided to go ahead and use my metallic lime green color. You could use a regular lime green. You don't have to use metallic on this. I just thought it would be fun. And I know that I used to work in a fabric store, and the fabric that you make these windsocks out of a lot of times has a sheen almost like a metallic color. So I thought this would be kind of fun. So I'll need 2 coats. I think I'm going to do just 1 coat, but I'm going to do both sides. So I'm going to paint this. I'm going to let this dry. It shouldn't take too long. That's very, very thin paint. And this is just a piece of wax paper, so I don't have to clean my tray multiple times today. So I'm going to let this dry. I'll flip it over. I'll paint the back side of it with the same color. That way, when you see inside the windsock, it won't look white on the inside. And then when this paint is dry, we will go on to our next step. All right, here's my strip of paper. It's got a quick coat of green paint on it. So let's put the streamers onto our windsock next. That's the next thing we need to do. And I've got a piece of cardboard here that's 3 inches. And I've got black embroidery floss and dark purple. You could use whatever colors you want. I happened to see a Frankenstein monster style one of these in an ad on my phone the other day. I want to wrap this around 3 full times. And I thought and it had the black and the purple, and I thought that looked really cool. I should have gotten my other scissors, but that's okay. 2 cuts there. Because what I want is 6 of each color that are 3 inches long. That black is becoming a little nest. All right. Be sure and start at one edge of your cardboard. But this is just, you could cut it otherwise. I just like to do it this way too, because this is a quick way to get multiple pieces of the floss that are all the same size. Come on, try to get under there. All right, now I have a Sharpie pen here, and I have a pencil, because what I'm going to do, and I'm going to pick which side of this looks the best. This has kind of a couple of spots that don't look so good, so that will be the inside. And I'm going to mark right there. So all of this embroidery floss needs to be from here to here. So I have glue. I'm going to put my wax paper back down so that I can not glue this to my table. I'm going to put a bead of glue like this. I'll start with the black one. And just this way, it's the floss will be not overlapping itself. You'll just have it going around. Whoops, where'd it go? Try and put them pretty evenly. I can always move them around with a dotting tool, but I want to get them laid down first and see how many. Come on. Oh, come on. That's not what I want next. I better do it the right way. I better start over here. So if I go backwards, I'm going to not get these in the right order. Oops, I need a black. Got glue on my fingers. This will straighten out, and if it doesn't, we can always use a small iron and get it straightened out. Pull. Just alternate the colors. Now you could use all black, you could alternate black and green, you could use lime green. Put whatever color you want on here. Purple. And if there's not quite room for all of them, that's okay. Usually I do between 10 and 12 of these pieces of thread when I do this. Purple. Let's move these over just a little bit. So I'm going to get 2 more there. Another black one. And the last purple one. I tried it, since I'm alternating colors, I am trying to make sure I started with black, so end with purple. Now another bead of glue over the top, because we don't want these to fall out. Come on. This must be the almost empty bottle of glue, not the one that's got more glue in it. There. And use your finger and kind of pat the glue down, pat this down, so that they are really stuck down. Now that glue has to dry, because if that glue is still sticky, when we wrap this around our Sharpie marker on our next step, if this glue is still all wet, it's going to stick to the marker. So I'm going to let this dry until that is completely dry, and when that happens, I'll be back and we'll go on to the next step. All right, my glue has dried, as you can see, and I've straightened the little streamers out a bit. There's my pen. I thought I was going to turn the camera off and go find my pen. So now we're going to roll this up, and we'll paint the face on once we get it rolled and glued. So I'm going to first do this so that I get it started to curve. You don't have to be super neat with it when you're doing this step, but once we get the glue on, you'll want to be a little neater, because you want to put it as straight as possible at that point. Now, I have some tacky glue out on my tray. I'm not going to start right where those pieces end. I'm going to start a little ways in, but go all the way to this end, making sure I get the edges. Then on the other side, I want to make sure that I have glue right here. This is what's going to make sure the end is sealed. Now you might need to hold on to this. Let's make sure this glue is spread out and no big lumps of glue. Any glue that comes in contact with the pen is liable to glue this to your pen, and then you won't be able to get your windsock off of your pen. That's why you need to be really careful with that glue placement. And I'm going to hold on to this for just a few minutes, and then once it's staying shut, I will leave it. If I find it's still trying to pull open, then I'll probably put like a small rubber band around it. But I think usually these will stay once you get started holding it. And kind of do this with your pen. Make sure it's loose. So I'm going to let this glue dry. When this glue is dry, I'll come back and we'll start adding our face to our monster. All right, my glue is dry, so I'm going to use black. I'm using the black metallic that I showed you guys a couple of weeks ago in the swatching video, but you can use just plain black. I'm going to start by painting a band. It doesn't have to be really straight. In fact, I want it kind of bumpy. And I've got a pretty small brush. Then I think I'm going to use a toothpick. Because usually when you see pictures of Frankenstein's monster, he has, you know, kind of a zigzaggy looking hair up here. And you can make it however you want it. There, I think I like that. So I'm going to get I'll just put it in here, get this like this, stand that up, and I'm going to let that paint dry. When that's dry, so I don't smear it, we can go in and add his eyes and then his mouth and the rest of his face. All right, now that the hair is dry, so I won't be smudging it, I've got a paintbrush with a fairly large rounded end on the end of it, the handle. And I'm going to add a couple of dots of, this is just plain white craft paint. And then those need to dry so that they will not smear when we add the rest of the features. So I'll be back when these dry. All right, I think my white is dry enough I can go on. So I'm going to start by taking a really thin, tiny dotting tool. And I'm going to paint his mouth. And you could add a couple little scars. I mean, you can get as creative as you want. Just add whatever you think is necessary. And this is the same black metallic that I used earlier. And then I've got a larger dotting tool. You could use the end of a paintbrush. Now, depending on where you put those dots, you could make a very cross-eyed Frankenstein monster. Mine's looking over to the side. So I'm going to let this paint dry. When this is dry, we'll add a string to hang him with, and then we can see what he looks like on the dollhouse. So I'll be back when this paint dries. All right, his little face is dry, so I've cut a piece of embroidery floss that's probably about 5 inches long. You can cut it however long you want it. Now I'm going to I've got a little bit of tacky glue here. I'm going to put this, I'm going to try and get it kind of halfway between the front of the face and the seam at the back. And then I've got these, I'm going to take the end of this, lay that in the glue. I've got my tweezers. Not sure if I want my tweezers or a toothpick or what. There we go. Get that in there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to let this glue dry, and then I will go over to the dollhouse. I will put him in place on the hanging from one of those hooks that we put in the porch when we built the dollhouse, and then we will see how he looks. So I will see you over at the dollhouse when he is completely dry and I can hang him up. Well, there is our monster Windsock on the front porch of the dollhouse. And I could have maybe made the string a little shorter, but I kind of like, if he was over the railing, he'd be fine. But I've already got this guy here. So I wanted to put him here in this, more in the center. But I love how he came out. I'm really enjoying these. It's a really fun little project to make. So I hope you enjoyed today's project. Be sure and go over to the blog post and check out my thoughts over there and the photos and stuff. If you enjoyed the video, be sure and hit the like button. Leave me a comment. What kinds of things would you like to see in future videos? If you enjoy my content and haven't subscribed, I encourage you, hit that subscription button and the notification bell so you know when I put up a new video. Thank you very much for watching today, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.